Hello Internet, I am the Hero of Julios, once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1039, Top Billing. And boy, what a top billing event it is. Art for this week is just a color spread, no updates on what's happening to the Germa Double Six. I kind of like that. Oda left us on a bit of a cliffhanger with the, Niji and Ichiji didn't get out of there. Or, no, it's Niji and Yonji. Ichiji's on the boat. Whatever. Two of Sanji's brothers are in trouble, and it's really up to you whether or not you care about that. But instead of the cover story, we have a color spread of the Straw Hat crew all together. They're going through a jungle. It's really nice, the whole crew's there. It's just another nice color spread. I'm sure it'll appear in a coloring page or a color walk or maybe in a theme song down the road, but for now, it's just a nice another color spread. So let's get into the actual chapter itself, which starts off with Onigashima floating precariously above the whole country of Wano, and it is moving away. That's right. Momonosuke has captured enough of Kaido's clouds and is actually kind of holding them over himself, and he's pulling them along tugboat style. And yeah, little by little, Wano is slowly moving away from the innocent people down below. Now, if it falls and it explodes, it's still going to take a lot of people out, and it might do some damage to the capital. But now it's not going to drop an entire boulder on an innocent crowd of people. So that kind of throws a few theories out the window. Like the theory of Momonosuke catching it just as it's about to land on the people. This may be a silent battle that is never seen by anyone except for Momonosuke and Yamato. They might be the only ones that know the truth. So, the top story of this chapter, and basically the rest of the chapter itself, is dedicated to Kid and Law versus Big Mom. It picks up right where it left off with Kid's, giant bowl having slammed Big Mom into the ground. She gets up. You actually see she took some damage. Like, even one of her arms is broken, and she had to pull out more of her soul to just instant repair those parts. That's pretty fearsome. One Piece, typically has this it's going to cost me a bit of my lifespan kind of thing. Who knows? If Big Mom, doesn't make it through Wano, she might die in battle, or she might die of just running out of lifespan. But I don't think Kid and Law are actually going to give her that kind of time. The two of them are arguing amongst themselves because twice now, Law has hit Mom with a big attack, and then Kid follows it up with a big attack of his own. The two of them have this squabble about who's the opening act and who's the finisher. It's actually kind of funny because Law tells him, stop trying to be the finisher. I'm going to be the finisher. And Kid goes, why does it even matter? And then Law goes, well, if it doesn't matter, then let me be the finisher. And he goes, no. So even though he's saying it doesn't matter, it matters. They're both arguing over who's going to finish her off, and this gives her enough time to get back up. She destroys the bowl with a slash of her, completed sword. You got Napoleon, you have Prometheus causing the fire, and then Hera makes it the lightning effect, and she just decimates everything in her path, even to the point where she, turns to Kid and sends Hera at him as this giant flame elemental. They're just whipping out all the stops. Big Mom's throwing everything she has at them, the girders, the three big, homies, her own attacks. Big Mom is on her last legs. I mean, I know I kind of glossed over it when I was just explaining, how the fight was going on, but Big Mom's arm was broken. This is a woman who physically cannot take damage, and her arm is broken. And even though she repaired it, the fact that it happened speaks volumes to the amount of damage she's taking. However, due to all of Big Mom's attacks, the two of them quickly realize, now's not the time for arguing, and Law convinces Kid to do a one final plan kind of thing. So Kid gets to Big Mom, hits her on the head, marking her as south, marks the wall behind her as north, and forces Big Mom back against it. And it is so magnetically powered that even someone as strong as Big Mom cannot move. So Kid reforms the bowl, charges it towards her, and Big Mom stomps into the ground, turns her back, and takes the entire tower and uses it as a shield. Yeah. However, this distraction is just long enough for Law to get over to her and stab her again, like he did before. Only this time, he's going in deep. He punctures right into her heart, and it goes through her. Then it goes into the ground. Then we get a brief cut to Yamato down in the basement of Onigashima fighting the big fire demon thing, and a sword just comes piercing through the ground. And she's like, what the heck is that thing? But it even goes further. You cuts to Momonosuke outside, and you just see a big old sword coming out of Onigashima. Then it cuts to the ground beneath Onigashima, and it stabs into that. I'm not exactly sure how many feet or miles up in the air they are, but it's suffice to say, this is probably the longest Law has ever extended his blade. And that's when he uses an attack called, and I'm gonna botch this, Puncture Vile. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's either Puncture Vile or Puncture Willy. I'm pretty sure it's not Willy, but maybe it's Weil? Pronunciations aren't really my thing. Regardless, though, as he does that, we see down on the ground of Wano, this giant crater forms. And then a giant crater forms in the Onigashima shell. And then Big Mom just explodes. I mean, she doesn't actually explode, but you can see the shockwaves of damage coursing through her, as visually described by the crater down below. As Big Mom is laying there, almost dead, Law probably passed out next to her, she looks up to see Kid forming the metal around him and building a rail gun. And then he just fires it into her, as Law tells her, your era is over. I don't think Big Mom's dead. No, that would be very un-One Piece. I mean, Whitebeard died. I could see Kid and Law. Luffy's not onto the, notion of killing people, but we know Law and Kid are definitely, not that nice. But Doflamingo got away, and Crocodile got away, and, people who were in the hands of other enemies have not died. I don't think Big Mom's dead. But I do think this is the end. I think Big Mom is out of commission. Either she's out cold, or she's going to be too tired to fight. Maybe not enough lifespan left to heal herself, and she just sort of gives in. Whatever the reason, Kid and Law have won. We saw Zoro win his fight. We saw Sanji win his fight. The fights are wrapping up, and I think starting from the next chapter on is the final battle between Luffy and Kaido. Whatever else gets decided is going to happen, intermixed between their fight, but I think this was the end of Charlotte Linlin. And this will cement Kid and Law as two of the 6 emperors? Well, Kaido's going to get defeated, so this will cement Kid and Law as 2 of the 4 emperors, right up there with Blackbeard and Shanks, and then Luffy as contender for Pirate King. That being said, will 2 more of the worst generation take over Blackbeard and Shanks' seats? Or will... Well, we can all theorize about what's going to happen to those 2 later, but that's pretty much all that happens in this chapter, is a very well choreographed fight. If you haven't already read it, I don't know why you're listening to a chapter summary about it, but go read it. Find however, I recommend the official source of Viz Manga, but find it, read it. It was a very well choreographed chapter with a lot of really good shots in it, a lot of very powerful hits, and it's always nice to see Oda just taking a break from lore drops and name drops and epic things to just show us an amazing fight. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.